At the table, we have Fairfax County Fire and Rescue Department, Fairfax, Virginia, for their second accreditation. Yesterday we had a first. We had two sitting commissioners in front of us presenting an agency. Now we have two former commissioners sitting in front of us presenting an agency. So welcome to the table, Fairfax, and we'll turn it over to team leader Norma Valdez.
Good morning, Chairman Dirksen and members of the Commission. It's my honor to represent the peer team and present Fairfax County Fire Rescue, located in Fairfax County, Virginia, for your favorable consideration today. First, I'd like to recognize and thank the peer team, Chief Thomas O'Brien, Harlem Township Division of Fire, Lieutenant Rebecca Tayo, Rockford Fire Department, who happens to be in the gallery this morning, Fire Chief Rob Hansen, Sumter County Fire and EMS, Battalion Chief Rhett Livingston, Bluffton Township Fire District, and Deputy Chief Peter Stenartz, Calgary Fire Department. Their professionalism, dedication, and expertise were critical throughout the review of the agency documents, interviews with staff, and observations made while touring the community and facilities. I also want to thank Fire Chief John Butler for his leadership and commitment to continuous improvement, Accreditation Manager Chris Johnson, Ms. Lori Stone, Planning Section Manager, the command staff, and the men and women of the Fairfax County Fire District for their commitment to pursuing fire service excellence. Their gracious hospitality and hard work leading up to and during the site visit with responses to our questions, readiness to address the identified issues, and flexibility was exceptional. The report you have before you has 22 recommendations developed by the team from the verification and validation process that started with the initial review and carried through to the end of our site visit. Fairfax County Fire Rescue is credible in all core competencies. They are eager to improve and clearly demonstrated their willingness to do what they need to be successful. They've already started to address many of the recommendations. Mr. Chairman, it's the consensus and recommendation of the peer team that your favorable consideration be given and that Fairfax County Fire Rescue receive accredited agency status today. I will pass the mic off now to someone who is no stranger to these proceedings, Fairfax County Fire Rescue Fire Chief John Butler, to introduce his team and answer any questions you may have for him.
Thank you, Norma. Thank you, Commission and Norma and the peer assessment team for their time in evaluating the Fairfax County Fire and Rescue Department for reaccreditation. Although introductions have been made, I want to echo them, and what we have is my boss, Brian Hill, the Fairfax County Executive, Deputy County Executive Tom Arnold, who's former Assistant Chief with the department. Tom is here with us. Chris Johnson, our Accreditation Manager, Lori Stone, our Planning Section Manager, and John Morrison, our Data Analytics Strategies Manager, and his partner, Jessica LeBlanc, who's here with us. The Fairfax County Fire and Rescue Department is committed to a CFAI accreditation process of continuous self-assessment for quality improvement in organizational functions, as well as the services provided to the community in Fairfax County. The peer team's on-site visit was a productive one, thank you, and the experience with constructive discussions between the team members and our staff. We acknowledge there are opportunities to improve our organization and has already begun implementing many of those recommendations from the peer team's report. We've developed and implemented a new annual program appraisal template which focuses on evaluating program effectiveness, reporting, outcomes and results, and establishing realistic plans for improvement. The accreditation team is working closely with various program managers to expand the utilization of data analytics to help them make informed decisions on all operational and non-operational programs. We'll talk a little bit more about our training, health, wellness programs, as well as public education and others. We're facing a challenging budget year, but exploring innovative strategies and cost-effective solutions to sustain and enhance our department's resources, from staffing, facilities, apparatus, and equipment. Once again, I want to thank you all for having us in front of the Commission and those who helped get us here to this point. Thank you.
Mr. Hill, I'd like to offer to you an opportunity for some comments. We do appreciate your presence here with us, and we always want to recognize the support of county executives, city managers, and the elected officials in this process as well.
Thank you and good morning. Thank you, Chief Dirksen. Good to see you, Chief Donworth. Mr. White, good to see you. And my friend Ken Holland, good to see you as well, and everybody on the commission. Thank you for giving us this opportunity. I really just want to say thank you to Chief Butler and his team. We've done a great job trying to get us to be the best and the brightest in fire and rescue. Without them, we would not be here today. So I just want to say thank you to them, and thank you to all the citizens in Fairfax County, as well as all the staff that have gotten us to this point. Thank you.
Thank you. You ready for questions? All right.
We are. Thank
Open
you.
it up for commission or questions. Commissioner McClintock.
Did you want me to make that disclosure now? Just yes, okay. Yeah. As a proud dad moment for me, however, I do have to disclose something that might be a conflict, but I'll let you guys all decide that. My daughter is a dispatcher in Fairfax County, and she's now a member of the IFF local, the firefighters local that represents her now. So I just wanted to disclose that and get that on record.
Does the commission see any problem with Commissioner McClintock voting in this process? Seeing none, we see no conflict. You're okay to vote. All right. Do you have a question, though? All right, perfect.
And it's an easy question. Reference recommendation 17 about getting a dedicated aerial apparatus to the training division. Currently, is it your practice to just rotate ladder companies in there when you need to do that type of training for recruit classes, or what's the plan moving forward, I guess?
So we have a very robust training environment at our academy, from 4 quarterly recruit schools to field training, high school programs, and many other programs. There's a lot of activity happening and a need for resources, like many other departments, sometimes overrun what we have available. But we are making strides in that, and I'll ask Lori to expand on that.
This one. Good morning. Yes, we've already put in place, with our apparatus section has been working very closely with our county Department of Vehicle Services, who maintains all our apparatus and all the county vehicles. And they've been working hard to extend the replacement cycles for our large apparatus. And in doing that, they've also been able to agree that an aerial, once it reaches its end-of-life cycle, it will be then moved to the academy, and that's starting right now with Truck 411 and will continue in the future. So we will have plans in place, or we have a plan in place to have an aerial dedicated to our training academy.
Commissioner Huber.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Chief, thank you for being here. I'd also like to thank you for your leadership in Wingspread, your leadership in the International Association of Fire Chiefs as our new president this year. I'd also like to thank you more so for leading the diversity in the fire service and moving our profession along with that. The question I have relates to recommendation number 18, and that is the recommendation for the replacement of your Class A burn building. If you could speak to that.
Okay, I can speak to that as well. So we've already put in place, we're utilizing some grant funding to extend the life for another 8 to 10 years by renovating our Class A burn building. And in addition to that, our training academy has really expanded our live fire acquired building structures program, where buildings in the county are donated to the Fire and Rescue Department, and live fire training is done there for our career and volunteers. And they've been very successful. We've already had about 18 buildings donated at this time for this year.
Thank you.
Commissioner Dongworth.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Chief Butler, I recognize you as well for your work on the Metropolitan Fire Chiefs Board as well, a long list of distinguished activities that you're part of. I'm sure you were expecting this question, and with the high-risk tech rescue team and hazmat team, I'm not as concerned with how long it's taking you to assemble that. It's well above your target. So you're, I think, about 25 minutes above your target for tech rescue, and then 51 minutes, just checking here, nearly 52 minutes above your target for hazmat, high risk. I'm just wondering what your plans are for that, or comments on that, I guess.
Why don't I have our data analytics strategies manager answer that?
Sure.
John, if you don't mind, please.
Yeah, that's certainly something we're looking at. Part of it is the categorization of calls when they come in versus what we actually find on scene. That was addressed as one of the other things that we're looking at, is more efficiently and annually looking at those programs and seeing the difference between what's dispatched and what's actually found on scene, and then be able to measure the gaps between those two things.
Yeah.
So that's part of our annual appraisal process going forward, to make sure we target those specifically, to make sure that those are true gaps, because I think in what we found in our analysis is that they're sort of data anomalies more than they are actual true gaps. So that's certainly something we're focusing on.
So that kind of CAD versus what they're classified in CAD versus RMS, where they end up in RMS. Correct. Is the difference. Okay. Well, that's good to hear, because like I say, I'm not necessarily concerned about, although it's a long time, it's just way outside your targets. So good to hear you working on that. Thank you.
Commissioner Moriguchi.
Good morning. I have a question more just to clarify. I see in the report two statements that may be conflicting, and maybe just my interpretation, but it relates to the fire protection inspections. In one section of the report, it says that 100% of all fire protection and detection systems are inspected. But in another section of the report, it mentions there's not a complete inspection of commercial buildings. I was just wondering if you could clarify that.
So our Office of Fire Marshal, we intend to use annual loss reduction as a benchmark on loss prevention, $0 loss prevention, and civilian injuries and death from fires in buildings or from processes that are regulated by required permits. Using this method, we're trying to recognize that certain losses are out of control of the FRD, recognizing the importance of reaction of buildings and assemblies to fire by limiting the development, spread, and ultimately the control of fire through maintenance of the buildings and processes.
Okay, so is the inspection completion, is it just kind of based on what's registered as far as permits?
What is registered as
Okay.
permits, yes.
Okay, thank you for that.
Yep.
I guess I have a question, seeing none from the commission. It's really not a recommendation, but there's a report in the report where you're talking about that you've applied for an AFG grant to do the ultrasounds. Have you had discussions with your county executive on funding that if you do not receive the AFG grant?
We continue to have conversations on a lot of, like everyone else, a lot of initiatives. That is something we'll have to talk about when grant funding is no longer available. We've done approximately 700 ultrasounds, and 26% of those had high-risk actionable findings. So, that's where the rubber meets the road with carcinogen reduction and early detection, and a number of comprehensive wellness and resilient programs we're doing. That is the big ticket item, and we're working with the county to help continue to fund those and even increase funding in some ways. But we're seeing real good outcomes in the sense that people are going home to their families, right, and quick turnarounds and care.
Very good. Mr. Hill?
I want to say thank you for that question. We also have expanded it to general county employees as well. So I do believe Chief Butler and I are talking about doing it for fire and rescue on an ongoing basis. But we have 16,000 employees in Fairfax County, and my goal is we do it for all.
That's a great goal. I do appreciate that, and I do want to say thank you for your leadership in health and safety as well, Chief Butler. You guys have set a bar high for all the rest of us to try to achieve. And looking at this, these are things I know many of us are looking to implement in our departments as well.
Thank you. Our comprehensive all public safety initiative with health and wellness is a true team sport, team effort. I know that becomes cliche at times, but couldn't have done it just with the FRD, the county, and other public safety partners. Thank you.
Commissioner Potter.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Chief, thank you. I have a question with regards to your full-time dietitian and that the agency provides. How was that received by your staff?
It's received really well. We do know Megan Lutz, our registered dietitian, visits and meets with stations and shifts and helps them in the kitchen educate and show ways to improve their eating habits, as well as physical fitness, and its relationship to mental wellness as well. It is all interwoven, and it's being well received, not only, like I said earlier, not only with the fire and rescue department, but it's pretty viral in public safety and county government.
Any other questions from the commission? Seeing or hearing none, I'd entertain a motion of accreditation. Commissioner Dongworth, second by Commissioner McClintock. Any discussion? Any discussion? Seeing or hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Congratulations, Fairfax County, on your second accreditation.
Thank you. Thank you. It's good seeing the commission again. I don't know what's tougher, being on this side of the table or that, but it's really good seeing you all. I miss you.
Yes. Thank you, and again, thank you for serving on the commission. You too, Mr. Hill. Thank you.
I want
miss
to
you
thank
too.
I want to thank the Board of Supervisors for funding us to do the things that we do, and it's good to see you guys as well.
Yeah.
Thank you. Next at the table, we have Ocoee Fire Department.